Okay, so once we have our 8-page booklet set up, we have all these different pieces and parts kind of assembled together for this. We're going to go ahead and we want to work on learning how to do master pages. And master pages are kind of like a template. They're really, really helpful and useful, especially if you're going to do sort of professional graphic design as you go through your career. So you want to make sure you kind of know how to do this. And so a master page, basically you design a page with certain attributes to it, and then you can always like apply those attributes to the pages underneath. So usually people do this right when they set up a document like what we're doing now, and then they can apply it to all the different pages. You can have different master pages for different types of things, like spreads versus a single cover, or things that like a big photo page. You might have a master setup for that. It's really up to you. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to select our master page, right? So we want to have one here. We can also make a new one. So if you go in here and go to new master, you can name it whatever you want. We'll just have the B master there, but they sound like rapper names or something like that. Okay, so we're just gonna pick one of these and make sure that you have that double clicked so you're working on it. And then you want to think, well, what kind of things do I want to do in all of my pages? I mean, for our booklet, maybe you want to have like a little guide drawn in here to help you figure out where the columns are and stuff like that. So to make a guide, we have to make sure we have our rulers turned on. So you want to go up here into let's see, View, Show Rulers. You can see that gives you the little rulers here. And if your ruler looks all kind of whacked out, like it's not lined up correctly, you can always just click on this little edge thing here and drag it back and drop it right on the edge, and that'll put the zeros of both things. You can also set it's set up right now for points, but you can set it up for inches if that's easier for you to remember. But so once we have the ruler set, if I'm going to make a guide, I can just click up here on the ruler and just drag it down. Let's say I want to have like a 10-point guide. I can sort of just drop that right there. And if I do that, and as long as I have my master page selected, it's only doing it to that master. And then let's say I have another column I want to do here that's, I'm going to go for another 10-point column there, and then I'll do another one on the other side, so I know that's 30. So I'll go back to 20 columns, wherever that is, and oh, sorry, wrong way. Okay, so now I kind of have this like nice grid set up. You may or may not use this, but you could do other things as well. You could sort of make a text box that's always going to appear in the top right corner. You can click and drag on that and build a little text box there. Okay, so if we do all of that stuff, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever's the most easy for you. So now if we click back over here on our pages, you can see I don't have any of that stuff I just did. None of that's showing up on my pages. That's because I haven't applied a master page to any of it yet. So if I click on the A master, right, and I click and drag and drop it on there, which one was it? Oh, sorry, it was the B master. So if I click on the B master and I just drag and drop it onto A now, and I come back down here, there's nothing on this page, on page 2, but if I click on that page, it's making me look dumb now. There we go. Okay, so you can see, okay, that one's applied. Oh, and it's because this one is on the wrong side, so I'd need to build a different thing to happen over here, and then it'll apply it. So I can go through and just drop. If I do this right, I can go through and drop these on there, and it'll show up for me. And so I'm not going to get anything on the right-hand side because I didn't build my master page up here to have anything on the right-hand side. But you could, that's easy to fix if we want to. So now, though, it's all kind of pre-built for me, and that's just a really nice, useful thing to do. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how to add. I'll show you guys how to add like page numbers that are automatically updated and stuff like that too. So that's in the next tutorial. So once we get our guides added and we get the masters all set up, then all you need to know how to do is just, okay, how does InDesign work? And so if I do take my text box here and I just click and drag someplace on the page, if this was going to be my cover, maybe I would do that, and then I could write, now I've got that text and it lives inside that text box, and you can see I've built a pretty big space for that text. So if I want to, I can highlight this and crank it up bigger, so I can just Oops, sorry, grab the points thing here and just do all of this. We'll get into more detailed types of things later, right? And I can make it as big as I can fit in there. Okay, so that could work. And then the other thing that InDesign does is you can build these kind of shapes. Like you can build any kind of a frame that you want. So if I want to build a frame like this, right now it's just an empty kind of receptacle. So I want to click on it, and then I want to go up here and go to Edit, and I want to go to I'm sorry, let's see. I want to go to File, Place. So it's Command D. That's the shortcut. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find a picture I want to dump into that. So maybe maybe I would do this guy here, right? And you can see that I've done that, but the image itself is too big for the bounding box that I made, so the frame that I bought or I made. So I can just click on this, and you can see if you do that, if you zoom out, you can see, okay, the orange area here is showing me how big my actual image is, and I can drag this down, and let's say I want it to look more, a little more like this. I could do that. If I wanted to get these little little bit of those in, I could do that. So then I can also use the black arrow tool here to make the box bigger or smaller to make it fit more or less of this image in. So the white arrow tool controls what's placed inside the box. The black arrow tool controls what's actually the box itself, so the frame itself. And then the cool thing is I can do any kind of shape I want to make a frame. So I can make a a circle. Go Command D on that. Pick something and place it in there, and you can see it's just way too big, so I'll need to shrink it down a little bit and make it fit. Probably able to tell what's going on in there. But let's say I just really wanted like this one little thing here that, that was an important photo that I wanted to have. I could just drop that in there in the circle shape, and it gives me like a frame spot. And then again, I can use the black arrow tool, and I can make this a little bigger, the ellipse a little bigger if I want, or I can adjust it or change it. I can also go in, and last thing is I can go in here, and if I want to and get kind of fancy, I can grab this. I can grab one of the sort of handles here, and I can actually adjust the handle, so I can make this kind of a custom shape where I can make it into a losange shape if I want to, or any of that kind of stuff. And you can build shapes out of the pen tool. Just draw a shape with it, and then select that with the black arrow tool and hit Command D, and it'll let you fill it with whatever it is that you want to fill it with. So that's the gist of it. You set up your master pages, you set up your wireframes or your boxes that you're going to put stuff into. You can work on text, so you can fill the shapes with text. Also, we'll talk about that more as we get through. And then again, the last thing is once you get your links in and they look the way you want to, remember it's possible to go in here under links and embed those if that's something that's more helpful for you than leaving them kind of as linked files that you might end up losing someplace. So again, that would be my cover, and then I would just go through and I would work on the rest of my pages and lay everything out and put in the stuff I want to put in and build it. You can also place Photoshop files. So if you have a Photoshop file, you can place it, and you can even place in Illustrator files as well. So if you know how to build things, illustrations in Illustrator, and you want to just drop them in here, you can just go File, Place, or make a wireframe box and do it, and it'll all be there. So that's the kind of intro, how to get started with this. We'll get into more depth as we go along here with the rest of the tutorials.